I'm Kurt.
I'm Jen.
We're Overland Uncharted.
And you're watching Waypoint Overland TV from Pacific Northwest Overland Expo. All right, so welcome to the inside of our home. We call this macho for a reason because we have a lot of space. There are 4 of us. We have 2 little boys, they're 8 and 6, and they sleep in these bunk beds behind us. These are a standard size RV bunk bed. And then Daddy and I sleep down below on a standard queen size bed. We have lots of storage up here for our clothes. This is closet space for both Kurt and one of the kids. Up above him is where we keep our dirty clothes. And then another child has a closet over here. And then Mama gets the biggest closet of them all, which is behind me over here. Behind these panels is where all of our mechanicals are hidden. So I'll let Kurt talk to you a little bit about what those are.
All right, so behind these walls we have 2 DC to DC chargers. They're 800 watts apiece. We have 15,000 watts of battery storage. They're lithium. They're server rack batteries. And it's a 48 volt system. So basically each battery is 100 amps at 48 volts. We have 1,850 watts of solar up top. We have a grow watt inverter, charger, and solar charge controller back here. And it's the 5000 ES. It's actually a 240 volt inverter, which goes to an auto transformer, and that splits it into 2 legs of 120. So we have tons of power. I'm an electrician, and that's one of the reasons why. And a little bit about the actual rig. So we're running a Ram 5500. It's a 2021, has dual alternators, has 48 gears, 74 gallons of diesel. We hold 81 gallons of fresh water.
So one of the top comments that we get from a lot of people when we show our rig is how homey it feels, and that was actually our goal. This is our home. We wanted it to feel comfortable, like a little cabin on wheels. We spend most of our time here if we're not outdoors, so it was really important to me to make it feel cozy, like a cabin, something that fit our personalities and something that I enjoyed spending time in. So let me show you the rest of our rig here. We have a wet bath behind me here. We have an airhead composting toilet, and we have our platform here that we had to build. This is a 30 by 32 shower pan. It's a standard size. We had to build this so that the toilet could fit on something. It's easy to get the liquid container in and out this way. There's nothing obstructing or, range of motion here in order to access it. So we love it. It's vented outside. We haven't had any issues with any kind of odors or whatnot. And we had the same setup in our previous rig, which we spent over a year in as well, and it's worked fantastic. We've got storage above here is where we keep some miscellaneous, paper towels, toilet paper, cleaning supplies, and whatnot. And one thing that's a little unique, I haven't seen this in a bunch of builds, is the type of shower diverter system that we have. We have a bullfinch system, and it's a little unique in the sense that you plug this in the wall here. So that just goes right in, and you just turn it to the appropriate temperature. We do have a 1.6 gallon water heater, so this does all the mixing for you. You don't have to mess with a separate hot or cold valve. It just does it and turn it on. And we do take military style showers. We'll spray and wash and then spray again. It helps conserve water. And we have a second one of these on the outside, which we'll get to here in just a minute as well, so we can rinse off inside or outside.
I know. I'm aware of that.
All right, moving into the kitchen here. So this is kind of my domain. I'm the main cook of the family, so it was important to me to organize this space so it worked and it was functional. My favorite thing is getting things out of the pantry and utilizing how much wall space we have, because we're so tall. We have over 8-foot ceilings in here, hence the reason why I went with so many different baskets. I love to cook. Spices are important to me. Fresh produce is important to me. And not only does they look cool, they get this stuff out of the pantry, so it makes room for other food. So speaking of pantry, we've got all this for food, all of that for food, and then I use kind of half of this for food and the other half for plates and bowls and whatnot. We also have a PEPWave router up in the corner here. We have Starlink for internet, and we also have AT&T and Verizon SIM cards inside the PEPWave, and it's always on. So when Kurt was designing this, I kind of joke he's the brains of the operation. I just made things look pretty. He wanted to design it as close to a home system as possible. So the router, the Wi-Fi is always on. It does all the work for us. We can program it to prioritize the Starlink when it's up and running. If it's not, then AT&T is going. So we don't have to fool with a hotspot, which we've done in the past, and sometimes it's tricky getting that in just the right spot, or sometimes it's here, sometimes it's there, sometimes you forget where you put it. We used to call it Waldo because we never knew where we put it. So with this, we don't have to worry about it. It's always on, which is definitely handy if you have to do any kind of work or need to be connected for any reason. So that's that. Our countertop and our backsplash are actually from Home Depot. And we built this thing in a bit of a hurry. We were renting an Airbnb for 2 months outside of Prescott, Arizona. And we needed to get materials fast because before this, I think I mentioned we were in a previous rig, we had a van. We sold the van, we were renting the Airbnb, we were pressed for time, we had 2 months at that house. And at the end of those 2 months, we needed to be able to live in this. So what we opted for was things that were easily accessible, which is why we sourced a lot of what we did from home goods stores like Home Depot or Lowe's or whatnot. So a lot of what you see is very accessible. We didn't have to special order anything in here. It's either Amazon or one of those stores, or our mechanicals like Kurt was talking about. We got most of that from Signature Solar, which is pretty well known in Texas as well. So we did that. Our windows are Arctic turn windows, which is nice because we've got the shade that comes down like so, or you got the screen here as well, and then the windows have different angles that you can open and close all the way. So it's nice to have that flexibility in these windows, and we've got 3 of them, one here, one behind us, and then one over our bed as well. This is where we keep a lot of our other storage utensils. And just about every rig has a junk drawer, as much as you try to avoid it. It's kind of inevitable. Things still accumulate. This is where I keep a lot of our other cooking materials, our cast iron, toiletries and whatnot, cups, plates. And then below, we have a 90-liter dual zone fridge freezer. This is an IceCo. We keep one side as our freezer, and then the other side is our fridge. And the one unique thing that I really like about this particular style is how versatile the lids are. So they actually open from both ways. So when I'm putting up groceries, it's nice to be able to open it this way and not have it fall down and hit me in the head as I'm stuffing it full of food. And the other cool thing is that the lids will come off all together. So it's easy to clean, or if you really need to get down deep in there, there's nothing in your way. So below our sink here, we have a little bit more storage. We are all electric, so our primary means of cooking is with induction. I've got 2 of those. One is out, stays out pretty much whenever we're at camp. And then the second one I keep down here. I use that probably about half the time that I cook. I have 2 burners going at the same time. I had to bring my blender with me as well, so we managed to squeeze that in here. And then we've got our hot water tank down here. This is an electric hot water tank. It's 1.6 gallons, and it's nice because you can just turn that little dial to adjust the temperature. We got this in our diesel heater as a combo package from expeditionupfitters.com. So together we got a little bit of a discount because we bought them in a combination. All right, so another one of my favorite features is actually our mini split here. This is a 9,000 BTU Innovair mini split with a heat pump. So Kurt doesn't like the heat very much, and I don't care to be overly heated either, and sometimes you just can't outrun the heat no matter where you're at in the country. So I'm not really ashamed to say that we were able to squeeze one of these in the rig. It's been a nice addition so far, and it really doesn't pull that much of a draw any more than our inductions do. We seem to have enough battery power for it, so I'm really stoked to have that for future use as well. So next, this is a really simple table solution. We didn't want anything permanent in our way because we want the nice open area here to walk through. So we decided to mount it vertically on the wall, and it just folds down like so. So this is a 60-inch bench behind here. About 3 of us can fit on there comfortably. We could squeeze all 4, but usually one of us is outside or doing something else anyway, so we don't really feel like we're pressed for space in terms of just eating area. The kids do a lot of schoolwork here. This is where we do some of our work, so multi-purpose, dining room, work, entertainment, all of the above. We've got a couple of 12-volt USB chargers down here as well. This is where we tend to just charge our phones or anything that has a battery. Another 120 plug. And then down here we just have more storage. Hang on. Under the bench here is where I keep a little bit more storage, my Instant Pot, bathing suits, some camera gear. The boys have one of their own drawers down here for toys, and then this is just another miscellaneous drawer for electronics and whatnot. Up here is more storage. Once again, we have so much vertical space in here, we had to take advantage of it. So in this one we have a bug net for when we get outside on the deck. You'll see that we have an awning. That's what this is. It's a room that you can zipper on side. It's a room that you can zipper on the outside of the awning. And we have a backpack for some of our camera gear and hiking and whatnot. And then I just have a couple of miscellaneous bags for resistance bands and workout equipment. And of course our bug zapper, because that's always a nuisance. Over here is a little bit of our bookshelf and where we keep some of our camera gear that we grab frequently. We wanted to keep that open and easily accessible because we're always getting this stuff. Then I keep a little bit more of the boys' schooling and book materials up here. We have a craft bin that we keep for them as well, so more storage. And I think that's gonna about wrap it up on the inside. Let's go chat with Kurt on the outside and he can show you a little bit more out there.
Thanks, Jen. Let me show you guys around on the outside. We have a bodyguard front bumper, and it's a little bit wider than your standard Ram bumper because we've done the super single conversion. We have a worn winch up front. We have worn shackles. Right on the side here, we have the AEV fender flare. So for the super single, because these tires stick out farther than stock. We did the swap through DBL Design in Texas. Around here we have storage boxes. As I mentioned earlier, we have 74 gallons of diesel. Let me show you the best part of the build is this deck. So when we ordered this box, we ordered a ProScape box, which is a landscape box from Morgan. And we modified it a little bit so the deck is flat. We also have a CVT awning. We got another fridge outside. Really enjoy sitting out here drinking a cup of coffee. All right, thank you guys so much for coming along and checking out our rig. We're Overland Uncharted. You can find us on Instagram and YouTube. And I really appreciate Waypoint Overland for taking his time to tour our rig.